Tracy here. 1 second. Making coffee. Yes, it is instant coffee. Don't judge me. I've got a decent coffee machine, but I think at the moment the coffee is not tasting right. So it's either the coffee beans or I'm not cleaning it completely correctly, or I don't know. I haven't quite figured that one out. If anyone can give me some pro tips or what coffee beans I should be using. I've got a Philips Latte Go at 5400, so it's a decent one. But yeah, instant coffee for the win at the moment. In 2022 we came over. Very lucky that we came over in the summer, although I didn't realize it was going to be so hot. And in the Netherlands, the sun at that stage I think was only setting at like 10-11 o'clock at night. It was crazy. Whereas South Africa, the sun doesn't generally set after 8-9 o'clock, so it was a bit of an adjustment, especially with a 1-year-old. So blackout curtains are your friend in the summer. Before we came through, we arranged Airbnbs to stay in. Worked out quite expensive. We were really lucky with one that we got. That's a monster playing in the background. But we were lucky and we got one right next to the train station in Barendrecht, which was very convenient because they had like a laundry and everything kind of in it. So we got that, but the struggle after that to find a place is quite challenging, yeah. And again, we got lucky because the agent that kind of helped us get the viewing for the place that we're renting now, I think they felt a bit guilty because when we were in South Africa, I was in for a surgery and my husband was supposed to have an appointment with the agent or something, and he just didn't get back to my husband. So somehow we got this place without having to pay what they normally charge, which is an additional month's rent.
Please stop saying there you go again.
So what happened was when we came to view the place, I think we were the second couple. We cycled half an hour from the next town in the morning at like, must have been 8 o'clock. And we came and we spoke to the landlord, who's Dutch. We are luckily, or we speak Afrikaans to each other, so luckily we could kind of communicate with him as well. And as far as I understand, they're really family centric, yeah. So our daughter was with us, running around cute as a button. And yeah, we got the place very luckily after we'd been here for just over 2 months. That is not the case for everyone. But yeah, we were very lucky in that. I would recommend having a budget for it though, definitely, because if you're having to pay rent plus 2 months deposit plus what we luckily didn't have to pay, but the agent's kind of fee, which is also another month's rent, it can be quite pricey. So kind of rentals is one thing that was a challenge for us. Adjusting to being on a bicycle at the age of 30 plus, you kind of remember, but you're just not as steady as you were in the day. So yeah, buying our first bicycle, looking at the differences between Oma Fiets, which is a normal bicycle, that's standard most of the time what people are taking. I think we got ours, my husband's new, for about 400 euros. Mine was only about 200, I think. But yeah, it's a huge adjustment coming from driving everywhere back in South Africa to here being on a bicycle. It's a good adjustment. I would recommend it. But yeah, and then we, for a while, we also had a bakfiets, which is kind of like the equivalent of a, South Africa, you call it a bakkie. I think here it's, or other country, it's more like a, not a truck, but a, what do you call those honey, what's the word I'm looking for?
Pickup truck.
A pickup truck. Thank you. But yeah, so he had one of those. I'm not sure if he used it more to transport the car or more of like a case of beer, but it came in handy. So yeah, that was an adjustment. We've upgraded since. I've now got a electric bike, which is the lazy man's bicycle, which is great. Gets you everywhere at 25 kilometers an hour, and no sweating involved either. So good upgrade. And then what are the other like upfront challenges we had when we got here? Not all of our bank cards worked, which was embarrassing, let's say, because you get to the shop and you got all your groceries, you're ready, you swipe your card and you know you got money, but it just doesn't go through, and you stand there and it's like, I'm sorry. And yeah, if you don't have cash with you, it's not the best experience. So yeah, be wary of that. Visa cards are not always accepted. And then the other thing is, if you want to get a bank account here as well, most banks require that you have a BSN number, and that takes a while to get when you get here as well. So what we did, we luckily had a friend who had been here for a while before us as well, and he recommended that we go with the bank called Bunk, BUNQ. And that bank allows you to open a bank account with them and sends you a card through the post and everything. Your application's online, so it's very easy. And yeah, all they require is that within 3 months you complete or submit photos or that sorts of stuff of your identity and so forth. So that's kind of solved that problem, and then no more payment issues. And yeah, the last kind of upfront challenge we had was daycare. Oh, that was also a difficult one. The daycares in most areas are quite full, so you can apply. Say if you're working a 40-hour week and you don't have family yet, your kids have got to go somewhere. And if your kids are under 4 years old, they are typically in KDV, which is kinderdagopvang, which is like normal daycare. And then from 4 they can go to school, but they can't go to daycare anymore. So you can either put them in school or you keep them home at 4. So it's kind of like it's if or. But yeah, so we had to put our daughter in daycare. We couldn't get, because both of us started working when it was only my husband working. She was at home with me, but when I had to start work, we needed to get her in full time, because it's impossible to work with a 1-year-old running around. So yeah, that was a bit of a challenge. They generally will tell you if you can apply for all 5 days of the week, and then they will tell you we have availability on Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and then you can put them in on those days, and the other days you have to cope until they have openings. So yeah, if you're considering a move to the Netherlands, there's the first 4 or 5 challenges that we had and what we did to overcome them. If you'd like any more information or have comments or can tell me how to fix my coffee machine that makes better coffee, let me know. Thanks and have a good day. Bye.